Hi everyone and happy Monday. We are back at the Fossil Prairie Center for our live today. And since this summer has been a little different and we haven't had an opportunity to open this facility, I thought I would take everyone on a tour. You could see what we've worked on this fall and kind of the new exhibits. And that way you'll have kind of a sneak peek of what we have inside. At least until we know whether or not the center will be open this year. That's still kind of up in the air, but I thought I'd give you guys all a sneak peek of it. So let me get you turned around so that you are joining me. So one of the first exhibits here inside the Fossil Prairie Center is our Winnebago River exhibit. The Winnebago River is the northern boundary of the park, and so in it we have some animals that you would see in a river exhibit. Some of them, like the osprey, are easy to notice, and the great blue heron, and there is a mink in the corner. There is a male hooded merganser, the painted turtle, and the bass, and then of course the river otter. One of the harder ones to find in this exhibit is the crayfish, which you would be able to see from this view here. So you have to tell me if you're able to see the crayfish in this exhibit. That's kind of the hardest one to find. Along with this exhibit, we have this flipboard here that can give you more information on each one of those animals, kind of where you'll see them and what part they have to do in the ecosystem. Across from the Winnebago River exhibit is the Rockford Brick and Tile exhibit. The Rockford Brick and Tile Company, of course, is how we located the fossils. They dug the quarry area as they were digging the clay out of it to make bricks and drainage tiles, and the fossils were just something that were kind of found by accident. There's information on the process of taking the clay from the quarry, the planers, the hammer mills, the pug mills, and then into the drying room and the kilns. And if you come out to the park, we still have 2 of these 16 beehive kilns that were in operation at one time. So you can get a chance to look at those, to see the size and imagine those filled with the tiles. These are the tiles here, kind of these noodle-shaped pieces. And in this exhibit, we have a mannequin here with a little quote by Glenn Heights. The mannequin is actually wearing work clothes that was worn by Glenn. And in his hard day's work, he explains how he would have to dig the tile trench in order to lay the tile. And so here's the trench that he would dig. And it uses a type of measurement called a rod. Does anyone know how far a rod is in feet? This is the part of a field trip where all the kids have to use some math. He digs 24 rods of trench, 18 rods of the top portion of trench, and 6 rods of the bottom. A rod is 16.5 feet, which is typically the distance between fence posts. So he dug almost 400 feet of 400 feet of trench in one day, and made $14.40 doing it. So that was awfully hard work for that much pay if we're going by today's standard. A while ago, I showed you the new case that we have to kind of showcase some of the new brick and tile memorabilia that we received from the Rockford Museum. So here you can see some. The Brick and Tile Company had a lot of golfing events, and so that's why they have a lot of memorabilia. That would be the divot lifters, the ball markers, and the tees. Of course, fly swatters and pens, a lot of lighters. These are examples of the tiles and the blocks that the salesman would be able to take around to show the materials. Some patches and a lot of other memorabilia, the bolo tie, matchbooks, and lint brushes, things that we don't think about in memorabilia in today's business. On this wall here is a timeline. So the edge of this wall would be today. And as we move back along the timeline, we're going back in time. So the Jurassic and Triassic times right here would be when the dinosaurs were alive. And as we go back in time to the Devonian time period, that's when our fossils were alive. They're from the Devonian time period. You can see that's about 360 million years ago, between 350 and 400. And these blue blobs that go up and down, that shows how much of Iowa was underwater during that time period. So you think of our fossils looking like corals and seashells, that's because Iowa was an ocean during that time, and so that's the animals that were alive. And even afterwards into the Mississippian, we were still underwater a lot. So a lot of times we will have our visitors then go around the corner, and these murals will show you what Iowa could have looked like during the Devonian time period. And in our drawers are examples of the fossils that our visitors will be able to find. The top one has the most common ones, like we talked about last time: the crinoids, the horn coral, the colony corals, the bryozoans, and then of course the most common one, the brachiopods, the gastropods, and the pelecypods, the true clams, and then the cephalopods, the squids that we talked about. So this would all be about the fossils, and here's kind of what those animals would have looked like when they were living, but keep in mind all of their soft body parts have rotted away. So when we see the colors of their tentacles, how many, it's kind of an educated guess basing the fossil record and what's alive today to piece the two together. Now, of course, if you come to visit us when the center opens, we do have a guest book that we like to keep track of where our visitors come from. We're up to 48 of the 50 states and almost 30 foreign countries, I believe. We are a passport location for Silos and Smokestacks National Heritage Area, so you can get your passport cancellation there. And then there's some information on other sites to visit in Iowa. We have what's called a Wenscope, so you can see snakeskin. Let me move this underneath there. Snakeskin up close, so that would be snakeskin underneath there. As far as interactive, hands-on, that's always the best part. So these two walls are actually pieces of metal, so you can move these animal magnets between the prairie of Iowa's past and Iowa's habitat today. So you can place the animals on them and kind of move them around. If you are a brave soul, you can stick your hand inside the rock wall and feel what's inside without being able to see what's in there. There are furs hanging here of some of the mammals from Iowa, so you can get to touch them up close. Everything from the least weasel or the ermine to the muskrat, skunk, beaver, badger, raccoon, otter, gray fox, red fox, and coyote. And then last year we had this mural updated, so these are all native plants of Iowa's prairies, and they are all done to size. So you could stand up next to, say, the compass plant here and see if you are taller than the compass plant, or are you taller than the coreopsis. So it kind of gives you a guide to be able to measure up to, as well as having some of the wildlife there. So there's a pair of bobolinks and their nest. There is a smooth green snake and a red-bellied snake pictured there, and then you probably saw the rabbit over on this side. And then, of course, the north wall of the center is all windows. So on a nice sunny day, you can get a nice view of the park, and there is a deck to sit out in nicer weather. We also have an exhibit on Iowa's prairies and the taming of the land. And so how the invention of the plow, they were able to turn over the prairie and be able to find out what good grade A soil we had underneath there due to all those deep prairie roots. And they were able to plant the crops as well as build their sod houses. Last year we had the new construction of our amphitheater area, and so here it is kind of greening up. So this will be available sometime for programming. So these rocks are along the slope here so that everyone can have a comfortable place to sit and a good view of the park. We have the Feely table with all things to be able to touch, look at on the magnifying glasses. Each one of these drawers has a different subject in there, so you can discover more on them. We also have tanks with Iowa's native fish, so there's catfish, bluegill, and bass in there. There are some red-bellied dace in the lower one to kind of show you how not all fish get to be the great big ones that the fishermen are after. There are 2 leopard frogs in this tank here. Around the corner we have our resident salamanders that are really missing field trip season. They enjoy getting all of the attention and love having everyone look at them. Below we have an American toad, and then we have our 2 turtles, the red-eared slider and the painted turtle that kind of extend across that tank. As soon as the butterflies return, we will have caterpillars and butterflies in this case here. We've had our tree in here, I believe 2 years. We've had the oak tree, but we have added to it. We have some new inhabitants in the squirrels, and we also had a mural done in this area. So here is, kind of lighten that up there, a great horned owl sitting on a perch, and the mural to go around to kind of make you feel like you are in an oak savanna. So we are surrounded by clouds and oak trees, and even around where we have our digital touch screens. It's surrounded by the woods, a wood duck box with a pair of wood ducks, another stump of a tree with a gray squirrel hiding in there. And then just some more information on trees as we are surrounded by the woods. When you get a chance to come out and visit, you'll have to look at this mural. There are some things hiding in there. There are antlers, wildflowers, a feather, and some scat of the animals in the woods. So, and then when you view out this one, we have our butterfly hunter out there waiting for the butterflies to come in the butterfly garden. And then our solar panels. And then if you take a view out this window, you'd be able to see our wind turbine there, and then our bird feeding station that was completed last year. So I hope you guys enjoyed your tour of the Fossil and Prairie Center. Like I said, we are unsure due to the COVID-19 pandemic on whether or not the center will be opening this year. But if we are, or when we open, we hope that you will be able to join us. If we are unable to open, we will be doing a lot of things to keep you guys connected and be able to get any information out to you. Remember, if you come out to the park, we still have hike packs available. We still have our bird feeder kits and our bird house kits. And I have some more ideas for other kits and other activities that we can do together yet separate. So look for all those things to come as we continue to stay socially distanced, but together by technology. So Hope you guys all enjoyed the tour. I will see you tomorrow at Doshonic. It'll be Tuesday, so we will be down at the Doshonic Recreation Area. I think we'll be showcasing some more of the facilities there. So if you get a chance to get outside in between rainstorms, please do. But I will see you guys all tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye.